So people want to know how I hit the CPT codes and how my notes actually conform to medical complexity for each payer's requirement. I actually have a program that I've coded myself, and it's been trained on all the insurance data, all their recommendations, and I train the AI program along with the note process to take all that information and turn it into a note. So I'm going to give you a little example. And my program is called Note Genie AI, and it can be found at notegenieai.com. And I think I charge like $29 a month because the API is a little expensive. And that's why I charge a little bit for it. But um, you have a bunch of different note types here, right? So we have a 99214 with the 90833. So you can actually choose what note you want based on your CPT, which is pretty cool. So if you're like, I want to hit that 99214 and the 90833, that's the note you choose. If you don't want that, you choose that one. Then I got psych evals, I got TMS sessions, I got treatment plans, biopsychosocials. If you want to paste a note in and run it through to get an ASAM, if you want to paste a note and run it through to get a locus, or you can paste an old note and run it through to get a different note. Discharge summaries, as well as I got the CPT audit tool, and I'll show you what that is too. It's really cool. So let's just say I want to do a psychiatric follow-up note with psychotherapy. So I choose that. And then I also have prompts here so it can help you out. So it can actually help you kind of write your note by giving you some prompts. And I give you a couple options. You could actually click that start speech and you could talk right into it. And if you have your patient with you and they consent, they can talk and it can record the conversation. Or what I like to do is record a little bit of conversation and you just paste your diagnoses and your med list in there, right? Basically paste anything in there that's going to be useful to your note. And this is HIPAA secure. There's a business associate agreement between OpenAI and myself for this. And let's go ahead and just copy in a fake conversation here. So I have this conversation, I have the med list, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit that generate note button. And we are going to see a note generate here. I also give you some other options too. If you want to modify something, which is really cool, you can go ahead and throw in there, like throw a PRN hydroxyzine or clarify their sleep quality, right? You see the examples I've given there. So you're able to do those things and you're able to, again, dictate into those areas as well. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see this note come out, right? So it shows the evaluation and management portion. It's a great note too, right? It talks about the follow-up care with the psychotherapy, the chief complaint, the diagnoses, and just look at that note. I don't know how close I can zoom in. Maybe you can zoom in on your phone a little bit, but it just creates a beautiful note. It has all the elements of medical complexity. It talks exactly about what we discussed, right? Even with very little information. I gave it very little information. And the important part is it gives us that psychotherapy portion, which you see down here, and the treatment plan for psychotherapy. Because remember, and if you've watched my videos, the guidelines state that you have to have a treatment plan for the psychotherapy. And then the psychotherapy has got to be separate and identifiable from the E&M portion. By separating it here, right, in this area, we're able to separate it from our E&M portion. So I have the E&M portion labeled, and I have the psychotherapy portion labeled, which meets Optum's requirements perfectly. And they are pretty much the most strict about how these things need to look. So I pretty much built these things with Optum's requirements in mind. And then I give you a couple other cool options too. You can save it and it'll turn right into a text file. You can copy it, which will copy to your clipboard, and you can go ahead and paste it in your EHR. You could save it as a text file and go back to it later. It also works on your phone. Again, it's notegenieai.com. So let's take that note we did, and let's go ahead and throw it in our CPT audit check tool. Let's see what it meets the elements of, okay? So let's get rid of the psychotherapy portion and just check the E&M portion of the note here and see if it meets, okay? So we'll get rid of the MDM portion it gives us, and we're gonna go ahead and click generate note. Let's see what it comes back with here. It should give us all the reasons why this note meets the qualifications for a 99214 or below, and it'll actually give you recommendations, right? So what it shows is the recommended code. See, we have a 99214 recommended by medical complexity, and it tells you why, right? There's 2 stable chronic illnesses. It says what they are, right? And then it talks about what we did, right? Medication management. Complexity of data, that really doesn't matter, but it'll give you the information there. And then it gives you the risk level based on that medical complexity grid I gave you. Again, my Note Genie AI does all this for you. You're able to run it through the audit check. And then it gives you the rationale, and then it even gives you the reimbursements down here. So I took these based off Medicare fee schedule, and then it'll give you a tip. So if it's meeting a 99212, it'll give you some information. Like if there's not, see how it says time analysis, time not explicitly documented, therefore MDM drives this service selection. If it were documented and below 30 minutes, it would support a lower code. If above, it would confirm a 99214. But it doesn't matter, because if we always take the higher code based on complexity, if it's a complexity thing. So we have that audit tool, which is super cool. I use it all the time. And then we have all these other tools here, which are super cool. If I wanted to run it through, say, a locus assessment, I would do the same thing. I would change it to a locus assessment. I can generate, and that stands for a level of care utilization system, which insurance payers use to authorize days. And all I did was just take that note, I pasted it right in there, and it's going to generate us a locus assessment. Again, the best way to do this is to copy the med list, copy the diagnoses, and then just dictate a little bit of data, maybe what you talked about, and click generate. It'll generate a very robust note. So you see that right there, perfect locus assessment. It's amazing, gives us all the information we need. Again, this is back-end coded with all the payers requirements. What I did was I aggregated all the insurance payers requirements and basically trained the AI model. It was a kind of a base AI note taker and note generator. And I basically supercharged it by giving it all those insurance payers requirements in there. Start over. We're just going to clear everything out, right? And clear it out. And let's do a follow-up without therapy. Okay, so we can do something like that. Do a follow-up without therapy. So 99212 to a 99214, that's the code range. And then I even give you like some things that may be helpful to ask here, right? Depression level, anxiety level. And what you would do is you would just make sure those things are touched on, or you could just go ahead, copy them, maybe paste them down in there, and then address them. Well, that may be a way you can do it as well, however you want to do it. And here we go, right? So we have an evaluation. This one is without psychotherapy, and it looks great, right? We have 2 diagnoses. We have the chief complaint. We have the E&M portion. We have the HPI, history of presenting illness. We have the review of systems, right? And it did it perfectly. Medication management. If you saw what I pasted in there, I talked to the patient about increasing Lexapro. And then it also talks about why it meets that bill code level, okay? So I like that feature, that it actually talks about why it meets that level of medical complexity, and that's really helpful. And it'll show why it's why it meets it, right? So requires medically appropriate history and examination and moderate medical decision making. The moderate MDM is supported by adjustment of medication, ongoing management of multiple comorbid psychiatric diagnoses. And remember this, it's not even considered a stable illness until you've completely reached treatment plan goals. So I think a lot of people forget that. When we look at the APA and what they have to say about it, if you're adjusting somebody's meds or you're changing something to optimize where they're at, that means that likely they're not at 100% of their treatment plan goal. So that's still considered a progressive and something that has considered like an exacerbation. So that's not considered a chronic stable, right? As soon as you're adjusting things to match symptoms that are happening, then that becomes something that's having an exacerbation, or we're still treating it. So very important to remember that if you're still treating something and they haven't hit treatment plan goals, that's still, it's not considered stable yet. So it actually helps you out in your coding a little bit. So again, you can find this at notegenieai.com. It's like $29. You could try it out, free trial, see how you like it. Paste your notes in there, paste some data in there. Um, and just play around with it a little bit and see if it makes your life easy. I know it's made my life really easy. I spend almost zero time documenting now, and I get my time back, which is awesome.